This broadcast is partnered by BetterSleep, one of the world's top-rated sleep apps designed to help you fall asleep faster and wake up feeling refreshed. I've never been a consistent sleeper. These days, I rarely get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and I usually wake up feeling like I barely rested. So I decided to try BetterSleep for a few nights, and honestly, it really helped me. One standout feature is the sleep recorder. I had no idea how much I was tossing and turning, or that I even snored when I sleep, until I played it back. That kind of feedback is super helpful. But what really hooked me were the sounds. I love the water sounds, rivers, lakes, rain, and many others that instantly help me stay calm. And the background music? Incredibly relaxing. It's not just great for sleep, it's perfect for meditation too. You can mix and match over 300 sounds and create your own vibe, whether it's white noise, ASMR, or ambient soundscapes. So if you're like me and you struggle with sleep, head over to trybettersleep.co/Alyx and start your 7-day trial for free. Sleep is a crucial part of your overall health, and if you're not getting the rest you need, it can seriously impact your physical and mental well-being. So don't wait. Download the BetterSleep app and start getting the rest you deserve today. All Elite Wrestling closes out 2025 with World's End. We got ourselves a new world champion, and Jon Moxley shocks the world. Let's talk about it right here in Alyx's world. Hello all, and welcome to Alyx's world, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm your host, Alyx, just Alyx, and this is your AEW Worlds End Pay-Per-View 2025 review, recap, reaction. If you're ready, let's talk about it. 15 minutes away from midnight. Couldn't have been an AEW pay-per-view if it didn't go way too goddamn long. Look, I've just given up. I have thrown up my hands and just accepted that AEW pay-per-views are just meant to be long. They're going to be long. Whether we like it or not, these shows are going to go 4.5, 5 hours long. Because that's how Tony Khan likes it. Despite people telling him, my dude, shorten your shows. People would like it more if it wasn't 4 or 5 hours. If it was somewhere between 3.5, maybe go 4 for All In, tops. But 4.5, 5 hours is way too long. And I felt it definitely around the women's championship match, Kris Statlander and Jamie Hayter. Dear God, Okada and Jon Moxley almost put me to sleep. I'm sorry. It almost put me to sleep, not because of the talent, but because it was a slow match 3.5 hours in. Hell, 4 hours in. It was way too long of a match in and of itself. But after going through 4.5 hours, you're just tired. And dear God, Chicago didn't help. Chicago was dead. By hour 3, Chicago was gone. You lost them. They came back at the end for the main event for MJF, but they lost the crowd 3.5, 4 hours in. Because these shows are just too goddamn long, and Tony Khan knows that. And we keep screaming into the ether sphere. I keep coming up here for how long? Almost 6 years now? Well, no. 2026 would be 7 years. Since 2019. I've been coming up here saying, bro, your shows are too long. Your shows have got to get shorter. Or do a better job of spacing it out and pacing it out better. He's not listening. He's not listening. He has fallen into his wheelhouse. This is what he does. Long pay-per-views, good, great, awesome, fantastic matches. But man, the rewatchability on some of these shows is unbearable. I can rewatch the matches, but I'm not going to rewatch some of these pay-per-views because they're just way too goddamn long. But overall, when it comes to World's End 2025, I feel like, this is just for me, it was a good show. If you paid your $50 to watch good wrestling, that's exactly what you got. It doesn't come, however, without its faults, without its issues. And there are a ton of issues that this show has that I will be addressing in this review. And you know I give it to you straight. I'm not like these other content creators that's gonna hate on the show for clicks, but also I'm not gonna kiss his ass either because I want to be in the club, because I want the job that Will Washington has. I'm not doing that, okay? I'm not gonna kiss AEW's ass so much to where I come across disingenuous, fake. I give it to you real here in Alyx's world. When it comes to this pay-per-view, I was looking forward to one match and one match alone. Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita. And instead of making that the finals or the main event, Tony Khan decided, I'm going to open with that match. Nothing came close. It was by far the best match of the entire night. Despite the wonky finish, everything else just fell off. Period. The match that I was looking forward to for almost a year now. Since Okada came to AEW, this was one of those matches I was begging for Tony Khan to give me. And he didn't even want to wait until the finals. He opened the show with it. And I think when you look at it structurally, that was a mistake. That was a mistake because the crowd was hot for this match. They were into everything they did. That ending where Okada used the screwdriver pissed the fans off. Got good heat for Okada. Great heat. When you open the show with your best match, where do you go from there? Not saying any of the other matches didn't deliver. There were some awesome matches on the show, but none of them came close. None of them came close to this. And so, for me, I feel like Tony Khan shot himself in the foot by opening up with a match that fans have been wanting for so long. Anything else after that was just, well, I got my money's worth by watching that match. I guess I'm just here. And I think that did affect the rest of the show. If Tony Khan had made Okada and Takeshita the finals, which is what I thought he was going to do, and then had Okada win by hitting Takeshita with the screwdriver, and then lead that into their next match, which we will get. We will get the next match at Revolution for the International Championship, apparently. Not the Continental Championship. We'll talk about that in a second. That would have been a much more satisfying finale, right? But that's not what they did. Tony Khan thought it was better to instead open with Okada and Takeshita. Okada does beat him with a screwdriver. The same screwdriver that apparently Kyle Fletcher was supposed to use, but he couldn't find it. Oops. So we just set up some dissension there within the Don Callis family between Okada, Fletcher, and also Takeshita. Hopefully Tony Khan capitalizes on that. So the other talking point, Jon Moxley's a babyface now. Right? He's a babyface at this point. He's not a heel. Not after that promo he cut. It was a very pro AEW babyface promo that got fans invested into the product. He thanked the fans. He thanked the locker room. It was weird. And I'm not going to lie to you. It was kind of weird to see him go full-fledged babyface. I understand them building to it. Maybe over time he loosens up and he starts to show cracks in his armor. Maybe he's starting to show a little bit of kindness here and there. But to just go straight from, I'm here to take over AEW, to all of a sudden, I'm a babyface now. Okay. Kind of jarring. At the very least, have the Death Riders turn on him, which they're going to do. Yes, I know. They're trying to build to it. It's long-term booking. They should have done it tonight. This should have been the night to do it. After he had that emotional promo, boom, you have them turn on him. Because we're seeing it coming. We're seeing it come. They see him as weak now. After he was tapping out all those times against Kyle O'Reilly, not Kyle Fletcher, Kyle O'Reilly, Darby Allin. Who else did he tap out to? Someone else he tapped out to. They feel like it made him weak. Hangman Page, that's who he tapped out to. They feel like it's made him less of a leader. He no longer has it in him to lead the Death Riders. So, yeah, they should turn on him. We didn't see Pac out there. I was thinking Pac was going to come out and blindside him. That's what I thought was getting ready to happen. It was kind of odd we didn't see him. I don't know. I just feel like Jon Moxley winning the tournament. First off, let's talk about that, because I can't be the only one that was anticipating Kyle Fletcher to win the tournament. The moment they said Okada and Takeshita was going to open the show, I said, okay, well, the main event's going to be Okada and Kyle Fletcher, right? I was thinking that's the direction they were going to go in. And then with Okada not being able to beat Kyle Fletcher, that was going to lead into this ongoing kryptonite storyline where Okada, for some reason, can't beat Kyle Fletcher. And we all know Tony Khan loves him some Kyle Fletcher. And we got the AEW faithful, sickos, pumping his ass up like he's the next Randy Orton, the next ordained chosen one. I don't see it, but that's what they want. So I was convinced he was going to win the tournament. No. Jon Moxley beats Kyle Fletcher and then goes on to beat Okada. Okay. So, not Kyle Fletcher, not Takeshita, not giving it back to Okada, who's the greatest tournament wrestler in wrestling history. Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley. Listen, I'm all for Jon Moxley being a babyface. We got to end this Death Rider storyline. It's gone on way too long. No one cares about it. It's running on fumes. You've already set it up. You can say the cast, the crew, the people look at Jon Moxley as a weakness now. He's showing heart. He shows that he cares for AEW, the locker room, which goes against what the Death Riders stood for. They see him as weak, they attack him. And then we begin, finally, the fall of the Death Riders. For the love of God, end this. And for my sake, don't do what I think you're going to do. Do not, and I repeat, do not turn the Death Riders babyface. Don't you do it. You need to end this. It's right there. Jon Moxley's weak. They attack him. Jon Moxley goes away, comes back. Warpath. Destroy the Death Riders. Please, it's right there. The storyline is right there. We can be done with this. The Death Riders have been around for how long? Too long. Almost 2 years now. A year and a half. I lost track. Okay? When they first started the storyline, we all thought Shane McMahon was coming into AEW and he was taking over. We never really found out who was in that limousine. We never found out. I know they're not going to admit it, but I believe originally they started the storyline to bring in Shane McMahon. And then Shane McMahon said, I want a piece of the company. I want a stake in the company. And Tony Khan said no. And it fell off. Shane McMahon went back to WWE quietly. But Shane wanted to own a piece of AEW. And I guarantee you, that was going to be where the storyline was going. And then he didn't show up. And so it fell off. End it. Just like you ended the Young Bucks takeover, the evil EVP storyline, the new Elite storyline. I'm glad that's over with. And we're back to the Young Bucks being the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega tagging with them as the original Elite. That works so much better. Okay? There's a lot of things you're doing right, but there's still some things you're doing wrong. This is one of them. You got to end this. Please. You have it. It's right there. Kyle Fletcher losing, though, that genuinely surprised me. With the way they were booking this man, I could have sworn, I swear to you, I felt it in my bones that Kyle Fletcher was going to win this tournament. I went in thinking, well, clearly he's the odds-on favorite to win, right? No one else is picking anyone else to win this but Kyle Fletcher. No, he didn't win. Kyle Fletcher did not win. Shocked the hell out of me when he lost to Jon Moxley. Looking back on it, again, I don't know what they're getting ready to do with Jon Moxley. If the plan is to have the Death Riders turn on him because he's gotten soft, that'll explain it. But looking back on it, this guy beat Okada in the first match. They gave this man some of the best matches the entire tournament has ever had. Even losing, he looked great. Okay. Whatever, man. Like, they keep telling you that this guy is great, but then they do stuff like that. So now I'm like, I will say this. I see the potential in Kyle Fletcher. I don't think he's the next Randy Orton. That's what people have been saying. Something is there, though. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I don't see it. He still needs a lot of work, y'all. He needs a lot of work. Because everyone's saying he should be the next world champion. No. At the very least, yes, TNT champ, I'm okay with that. If they want to give him the Continental Championship, fine. That's great, too. Nowhere near the world title. Nowhere near a world champion yet. Maybe one day. The potential's there, but he needs to realize it. Well, he's great inside the ring. Do I need to talk about how many people in AEW are not just great inside the ring, but they're phenomenal inside the ring? But I wouldn't be calling for them to be world champion. Just saying. Speaking of champions, Kris Statlander. Can we be honest about Kris Statlander real quickly? And look, I know everybody loves Kris Statlander. She's a great wrestler. Inside the ring, one of the best. On her A game, hard to top her. One of the best female wrestlers we have today. Damn it, does she suck as a... I'm sorry. She sucks as a character. Her promo skills are not great. They've gotten better. I'll give you that. Because she used to be really bad at promos. But in terms of the standard that was set by Toni Storm earlier this year, she comes nowhere close to it. Toni Storm was... We'll get to the end of the year awards this upcoming week on Tuesday after NXT. Look for that. But Toni Storm to me was one of the best champions all year. Across the board, WWE, AEW, NXT, TNA, one of the best champions all year. To go from her to this, it's a pretty big step down. And Kris Statlander is not meeting the standard. She's not. Inside the ring, great. One of the best female wrestlers we have. Toni Storm was also great inside the ring, but she had other things about her that excelled. That excelled her as an overall talent. Kris Statlander is just good inside the ring. Her reign so far has been very cold. No real storylines. No storyline at all. It's just been, who's next? Okay, I'll fight you. Okay, I'll fight you. All right, I'll fight you. No real meat to her as a champion. She feels transitional, if I'm being honest with you. Even though she's not, she's getting quite the reign, if I'm being honest with you. She beat Mercedes Moné. She beat Toni Storm. She beat Jamie Hayter. So it's not like she's a jobber. That's a good thing. But despite all that, she doesn't feel important. I don't know what it is about Kris Statlander when it comes to her being a champion. Because everyone keeps saying, oh, she's an original. She's been here for the longest time and she should get the respect that she deserves. She should get the reign. I agree. I'm glad she got it. But now that she has it, am I going to remember it when it's all said and done? I think we all know the answer to that. No. When she loses the belt, and she will lose the belt, this is going to be a very forgettable reign. Maybe in the future, she'll have a better reign. But this particular reign, it's not it. It's just not it for me. And I'm not trying to be an asshole when I say that, but it's the truth. It's just not it. Her match with Jamie Hayter was good, not great. There were a couple of matches on this show that I felt didn't even need to be on this show. I thought the Women's Tag Team Championship match was Dynamite worthy, not pay-per-view worthy. Wasn't terrible, but wasn't great either. The Women's Tag Team division needs work. Anyone else feel like these matches aren't quite hitting? I'm sorry, but a lot of the tag team matches that the women have had over the last month or so have been garbage. Not all of them, but a lot of them have been really bad. I don't know what's been going on with the women when it comes to tags, but their chemistry is off, their timing is off, they're missing their moves, they're messing up their moves, they're botching their moves, and it's obvious. Usually some of the best wrestlers coming out of this tag team division, the women's tag team division, they're great as singles, but in a tag team, they're terrible. And so they need to, in my personal opinion, they need to do a better job of producing, structuring these matches to where these women excel at what they're doing. If they need to make the matches shorter, make them shorter. Now, again, the match itself, Mercedes Moné Athena taking on the Babes of Wrath, wasn't a bad match. It was decent. And Mercedes Moné loses again. Mercedes continues to lose. Her losing streak is one of the best things, honestly, on AEW television. The downfall is sweet, which is exactly what I said was going to happen. Everyone complaining about, why does Mercedes win all the goddamn time? Mercedes Hogan. That's the whole point of being a heel. You build them up, you build them up, you build them up, you keep giving them wins, and then comes the fun part afterwards, the downfall. And now, every time Mercedes has a match, now you're excited. Now we got people saying she's the best female wrestler in the world today, when they weren't saying that months ago. They were saying she was the worst because they didn't quite understand what she was doing. It was about building heat. And so now, she's going on a losing streak. And she's going to keep losing. I wouldn't be surprised if she dropped the TBS Championship to Willow Nightingale this upcoming Wednesday. I don't think she is. I think Athena will beat her for that championship at Revolution, but I could be wrong. I'm cool with that too. She's going to lose all the belts. All of them. And then when she loses all the belts, that's when she'll win the women's title. I don't see Mercedes winning the women's title until All In. I'm calling that right now. I think she'll win the Owen Hart Cup again, twice in a row. And I think she does win the women's championship at All In. Unless, maybe we do Kris Statlander and Mercedes again at Revolution, and she wins it there. If she doesn't win it by Revolution, she's definitely winning it by All In. Because by that point, she'll lose all the belts, and that anchor will be off her shoulder, and then she'll be obsessed, right? Make her darker, make her more of a dangerous commodity for that championship. But she has to lose them all first. She has to lose everything, which is the fun part. So, everyone that was complaining about her winning all the time, you missed the plot. Are you having fun now? Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not having... Yes, you are. You're having fun. You're enjoying her matches now because of the story. That's what storytelling is. You didn't like the fact that she was winning because you wasn't supposed to. You wasn't supposed to like the fact that this arrogant bitch walking around thinking she's all that because she had a Hollywood spot. She was in Star Wars, and she has her own song, and she knows a couple of people from Hollywood, celebrities. She's a cousin of Snoop Dogg, making $5 million a year. Yeah, fuck that bitch. I don't like her. I hope she loses. And then she goes on to win all of her matches. And you get sick of her, like, God damn, why can't this bitch lose? Why are they protecting her? How come she can't lose? Why can't nobody beat this bitch? And now people are beating her. And you're loving it. That's storytelling. That's psychology. That's something a lot of fans don't understand. And you know it's true. A lot of these fans like to sit here. They want to come on Beyonce's internet. They want to talk about wrestling. They want to act like they understand how this works. But the moment, and I always catch it, the moment something happens that, when you think about it from a psychology perspective, was exactly how it was supposed to happen, all of a sudden they forget how wrestling works. Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania 39 had to happen. He had to lose to Roman Reigns to then give him a reason to have a rematch at WrestleMania 40. Would WrestleMania 40 have been as important with that main event, with The Rock coming back, The Rock pushing for Roman Reigns and Rock, fans pushing back, we want Cody, the uprising of the Cody crybabies. Would any of that have been as special if Cody had just won? You have to do stuff that upsets the fans. You have to give fans a reason to hate the bad guys, right? That is what wrestling is about. It's not about your fucking star ratings. I am so done with Dave Meltzer and the 5-star, 6-star, 7-star, 8, 9, 10, 12 divide by 5-star rating system. I don't give a shit. That's not what wrestling is about. Are you invested in these characters? Are you invested in these matches? Is the match athletic? Is it fun? Is it action-packed? Is it something that you will watch over again? Will you remember this happening 2, 3, 4 years from now? That is what it's all about. Not some random historian who's been around for 4 decades, who hasn't changed his taste whatsoever, coming up here telling you what a good match is. I'm over the star rating system. I've grown up. I'm a grown-ass man now who appreciates different aspects about entertainment, including professional wrestling. The star rating system is outdated. It's boring. No one cares about it no more. And heading into 2026, we have to move past that. We have to move past star ratings. It has no value. It has zero value going into 2026. Dave Meltzer can have his opinion. I'm not telling you to block Dave Meltzer. I'm not telling you to ignore Dave Meltzer. I'm not saying that Dave Meltzer, everything he has to say about professional wrestling has no merit to it. The guy's a historian. His opinion is no different than my opinion or your opinion. He can have it. You can listen to him. You can agree with him. If you want to invest in what he has to say, go for it. But I'm done holding his views above everyone else's. He is no longer the pinnacle, the deciding factor of what makes a good match, of what makes a good show. Thank you, Right Hand Cam 2. His star ratings aren't shit. They aren't. They're just one man's opinion. It's all about the story. That's all that matters. Game Shock. Someone's mad at Dave Meltzer. I'm not mad at Dave Meltzer. Who the hell's mad at Dave Meltzer? How did you hear that rant and think I'm mad at Dave Meltzer? I'm mad at the idea of the star ratings. I'm mad at why people worship him as like this godsend of who gets to decide what's great about wrestling. That is what I'm upset about. I have no qualms against Dave Meltzer whatsoever. It was never about Dave Meltzer. I don't care about him. Listen to what I'm saying. Understand where I'm coming from. Okay? I didn't say that Dave Meltzer was a dumbass and he shouldn't have an opinion. Although he does say some dumb shit, and he does, let's just be real, his reports sometimes, a lot of the times, are not accurate. Which is probably by design. WWE just feeds him misinformation on purpose to make him look bad. And he doesn't even know it. Well, he does know it, he doesn't care. I'm just over this mindset that matches can only be good if Dave Meltzer gives them 5 stars. Fuck that. He is one man with one opinion. I thought Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd had a brutal, violent match that was awesome. Darby Allin had to get his momentum back after being kicked out of the tournament, which sucked. It does suck when you look back at 2025 knowing that this was supposed to be the year Darby Allin became a world champion. So everything that Hangman Page got, that was supposed to be Darby Allin. Think about that. If he had not gone on to climb Mount Everest, by the way, congratulations, I'm glad he did that. If he had not chosen to climb Mount Everest, he would have gone to All In. He would have won the tournament, gone to All In, won the world title, had a reign with it, dropped it to Samoa Joe, and then been in that fatal four-way. Imagine what a year that would have been for Darby Allin. Maybe this will be the year, 2026, where they do give him a world title. He should win the world championship at least once. At least once. But this was a great match. A nice way to reestablish his momentum. That Mixed Nuts Mayhem 8-man match. Well, 8-man women intergender mixed match, I suppose. That was fun. That was a nice buffer, turn your brain off popcorn fest. I had a good time watching that. And see, we need more matches like that. Those are just matches where people are just in there to have some fun, do some crazy shit. You had a wife and a husband beat each other up. I have no idea why Marina Shafir and Roderick Strong are so comfortable beating each other up. You would have thought they would have hesitated. No, they just beat the shit out of each other, which is hilarious. I'm like, well, that's going to be an awkward family dinner tonight. And then we got the Continental Classic finals. Let's just get to it. Jon Moxley ends up winning the Continental Classic. I feel like when it comes to the Continental Classic, and this is just me, because I already talked about Jon Moxley going babyface and him being the Continental champ. And we'll see how things play out with the stories going into next year. Because again, they could have him be kicked out of the Death Riders, and that's why they had him win the tournament, which would work. I just wonder why, of all people, to win the tournament. The whole point of a tournament, and this is something that I need, and hopefully AEW gets right, I need to see from them. Most of the time, a tournament like this is all about establishing new talent. You don't have to win to be established. But Eddie Kingston won the first tournament, right? That was his way of being launched into the main event scene, where he would have stayed if he didn't get injured. He got hurt. Things happen. Okada, it was rightfully so. It was used to establish him as a main event player. So Moxley, not saying Moxley couldn't have won it. I just kind of feel like he didn't need it. It's like with Gunther ending John Cena's career. He didn't need to do that. You could have given that to somebody else. And I think now people are begging and wishing that it would have gone to someone else besides Gunther, based off of how that match ended. But yeah, I feel like Jon Moxley didn't need to win this tournament, even if the idea was to have the Death Riders split up from him. Matter of fact, him losing the tournament would have done that either way. Quite honestly, it would have added to that story because he failed. And in failing, they now have lost confidence in him. So if the plan is to have the Death Riders turn on him anyways, even though he won the tournament, you could have gotten to that by just simply having him lose. Kyle Fletcher, I thought, was going to be the winner. But if the ultimate goal was to just have Okada lose anyways, why not just have Takeshita win? You know, I would have just had Takeshita win. Ultimately, that's just me. That's how I would have done it. Finally, the last thing we'll talk about before we get to the actual review. Big shout out to the new AEW World Champion himself, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. MJF, ladies and gentlemen, is once again your new world champion. He is a two-time AEW World Champ, one of nine men in all of wrestling. 9 men in all of wrestling to win in WWE, not even the WWE, but a world championship. WWE, AEW, WCW, one of 9 men to win a championship twice before he turned 30. That's a big, big deal. In all of wrestling, congrats to him. I hope, and this is just how I feel about it, I hope MJF holds that belt all the way to All In. I want Will Ospreay to beat MJF for that championship. Unless, and we could still do this, they want to give the belt to Darby Allin. But still, no, they can have Darby beat MJF, but then MJF needs to win it back. MJF should be the one to drop the belt to Will Ospreay at All In. And that's assuming Will Ospreay makes it, because he's still recovering. They did say that he's ahead of schedule, so I don't know if he's back to training. You know, they said the same thing about Seth Rollins. I've been seeing reports that Seth is already back at training and that he might actually come back before WrestleMania, and they'll put him in a program with somebody with who I have no idea. But if Will Ospreay is healthy and he can make it back before All In, that's who needs to win the Owen Hart Cup. That's who needs to go to All In and win the championship. Someone said you can do Darby Allin and Will Ospreay again. You're not going to hear me complain about that whatsoever. We could definitely do that. And that'll be a hell of a main event if they decide to do that. Ooh, Darby Allin and Will Ospreay in the main event of All In? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that would be wonderful. But I think for maximum heat and to get the best match that's going to elevate Will Ospreay as like the guy, because he is the guy, it needs to be against MJF. Now, we have plenty of time to decide that. We have plenty of time to talk about that and weigh out our options, because All In is like, 9 months? 9 months away, 7, 8, give or take months away. But yeah, MJF should be the guy that drops the belt to Will Ospreay when Will Ospreay returns. So, an overall shaky creative year for AEW. And I think when it's all said and done, just my personal opinion, it's one of their worst. 2025 was one of AEW's worst, might be their worst year in existence since the pandemic. And though the pandemic wasn't like terrible, although it was, AEW 2021, 2022, they fell off a bit in 2023, fell off a lot in 2024. They haven't had a worse year than 2025. It's ending strong. They're better off now than they were earlier because they're once again selling out arenas. I'm seeing that. That's great to see. I'm hoping and praying that 2026 is much better. You have a lot of fans who are pissed off at WWE for how they handled the John Cena retirement tour. Just an awful retirement tour for John Cena. Hopefully, and just maybe, that will encourage some WWE fans to give AEW another shot. And if that's what they're going to do, sweet. AEW can build off of that. So here's to 2026. Hopefully things turn out well. Thank you all so much for joining me for this review. We're going to go ahead and get into the review itself. We're going to break down each match, and I'm going to go into more detail about why I like some matches, why I didn't like other matches, and I want you to give me your thoughts in the comments and the live chat. What was your match of the night? What was the best match that you saw throughout the show? Did you pay to see the pay-per-view? Was it worth the $50? Give me your scores, give me your grades, and I would love to interact with you as we talk about this show. So once again, thank you for choosing me for your review. You could be anywhere else here in the YouTube space. You chose me, and I'm grateful for it. So if this is the first time you're watching me, do me a solid favor. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Wow, your edits help expand the brand by doing the following things. Join the membership. Click that join button and get the opportunity to request a video of your choosing, whether it's a live reaction, hot topic, or a review, past, present, or future. Also, don't forget to, give thanks. Hit that super thanks if you would like to donate after the fact. You can. Also, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter at Just Alex Central. Give me a follow on Instagram. Give me a follow on Spotify. Give me a follow on Cameo. Give me a follow on Threads. Follow us on Discord. Follow me on Blue Sky, where the skies are clearer. And give me a follow on TikTok, for I am the tickest of the talkers. Donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, Venmo. And yes, Super Chats are officially on you. You can donate at any point in time during the broadcast to get your thoughts played live on the air. Email me at justalexisworld@gmail.com for business inquiries, just to say hi. Get yourself a t-shirt today at Pro Wrestling Tees and Teespring. Are you a Just Alex guy? Then join the club. Get you an I'm a Just Alex guy t-shirt. Hot off the press. Also get you an old school Deluxe Man t-shirt. Get you a new school Alyx's World t-shirt. And many, many more t-shirt designs coming your way. So stay tuned. Join the cause. Expand the brand today right here in Alyx's World. Thank you all so much for making me a part of your day. I know it is past midnight. My review will not be as long as AEW's pay-per-view this year. I promise. Or tonight. Or whenever you're watching this. They will not be as long as AEW's pay-per-view. I will get in, I will get out, and then I'll get your thoughts and hang out with you and let you guys go to bed because it's late. But for those who chose me, I do appreciate you. Always know that 2025 was a rough year. Overall, it was a rough year. Financially speaking, this was my best year in terms of a content creator. But emotionally, mentally, what a year. Across the board, it's one of my least favorite years, if I'm being honest with you. But you guys made it worth it because you're here now. So show your love to the Mod Squad. Ultra, Shadow 97 Fires the Heart, Elias, Ademi, New Japan Pro Wrestling Girl, Cleo does everything. Huh? Wait, Dylan Danger, Teflon Don, the My Father, Zeno, Enigma, and of course, Mrs. Firestar, Heart, Angel, Hollenbeck. Let's not forget about Mr. Big MGM. I don't know where he's been at. Hopefully he returns. He's been MIA for the longest time. Maybe wrestling is not his thing anymore. I get it. It's not a lot of people's things anymore. It's one of those things where it's just like, Lord have mercy. Please be sure you like the video. The more you like the video, the more opportunities I will be given to be recommended here on YouTube. So help boost that algorithm by hitting that like button. Let me go ahead and give a couple of shout outs here. Thank you all for yet another great year. So, and we'll get into church announcements at the end of the stream. We do have the end of the year wrestling awards coming up this Tuesday. I might have to begin the tallying of the winners right after this. So I'm probably not going to bed. If I want to get this ready by Tuesday, I might need to just go ahead and stay up and get that ready. But we'll get to church announcements in a bit. Let me go ahead and get some shout outs. JJ, who let the dogs out? Ooh, JJ Bulldog's been a very reliable, very consistent viewer of my channel. He's been here forever, and I appreciate him for that. We got Game Shock. Game Shock is giving me a hard time for criticizing Dave Meltzer, although I was not criticizing Dave Meltzer the man. I was criticizing the idea around him. But good to have you here. YouTube member Dawsley Chatham, good to have you, man. I see Bonkers. Who is that? SLFC. Or is it Bonkers LFC 3067? Good to have you here. We got Mike Lee, 4200. We got Trey Lucado. YouTube member Right Hand Cam in his house. Good to have you here, sir. Always good to have the regulars here. We got Road Punk, 1534. We got Electric Cool. All right. Hello, Electric Cool. Electric Cool says, my question is, when Mercedes finally does become champ, will it be as a heel or as a face? It will definitely be as a heel. I have a good feeling it will be as a heel. That's for sure. Let me see here. Joe Arredondo in his house. Good to have you. I don't want to miss anybody. There's a lot of people here. Aaron Teagle. Good to have you. Well, there's not really a lot of people here now. Once again, it's past midnight, so I'm not expecting a big audience. Nah, I don't want to sound like Tony Khan, where I'm just like, I'm making excuses for why it is. Yeah, I don't know what's been going on with my live streams as of lately. My WWE live streams get a lot more viewers. That's for sure. And that's okay. My AEW live streams don't do as well. And I'm fine with that. Because as long as you guys watch them, I don't care if it's 8, 3, 800, 300, 8,000, 3,000. I'm going to do it. Let me see. I see I lost track of who I was getting ready to call out. And I got to find him again. The troubles of being a one-man crew here. So I said Joe Arredondo. Who did I say after that? Did I say everybody's name? No, I didn't. I feel like I just missed somebody. OG, there it is. OG Francis 9361. He says, I managed to stay awake this time only because I had 2 cans of Mountain Dew on hand and a Coke. You came prepared. I appreciate that. Alex, I wanted to remind you that my grandmother recently passed away at the age of 86. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Everyone send your prayers to JJ Bulldog, who lost a very dear family member. I lost my grandmother 2022. That broke me, bro. That shut me down for a while. So sending my condolences your way. Ronwell Nogales, ladies and gentlemen, when he's in the building, you the twos, and he's the one, the chosen one, the unwicking, the former world champion. Will he be able to reclaim the championship or a championship in 2026? We'll have to see. Good to have you here, Ronwell. Always good to have you here, champ. All right, it is a little late, so let me go ahead and move things along. Super chats are on, so you can donate. I know some of you are probably saving your super chats for Tuesday because that's when the championship is on the line. But feel free to donate. It's not going to hurt anybody for you to get your thoughts in. But let me go ahead and move things along here. We're going to talk about the pay-per-view. And just going to kind of give you my thoughts. And if you want my grades for each of the matches, they're right there in the description. I'm just going to give you my overall thoughts. I'm not going to go move by move, spot by spot. That's not me. I like to just talk. So the opener, Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita, which was a Continental Classic semifinal, the first one. Match of the night for me. Absolutely fantastic. A banger. Now, it wasn't all perfect, but they delivered a very high energy, hard-hitting match, and it felt restrained. Like they were deliberately not giving you their all. They're saving that for Revolution, I'm assuming, right? When they have that rematch and there's a little bit more heat behind it, and it's for the AEW International Championship now, no longer the Continental Championship. Whatever. But they're clearly setting up for the inevitable rematch. Okada wins by using a screwdriver. Now, there was a spot where the referee was supposed to get scared and turn away from the screwdriver. He didn't. He just looked at Okada with the screwdriver in his hand, and he just randomly just looked outside, which was stupid. It was a horrible botch, mistimed spot. But outside of the referee being out of position and properly selling the cheating spot, Okada does cheat. He hits Takeshita with the screwdriver and pins him. And there you go. The story still works. We're going to get the rematch. There's going to be some tension between Takeshita, not even some, a lot of tension between Takeshita and Okada, but some tension now with the Don Callis family as well. You can tell they want to start slowly but surely moving Konosuke Takeshita away from the Don Callis family. Maybe even have him be a singles competitor at this point, which is great. I'm all for that. The next match, Jon Moxley versus Kyle Fletcher. Great match. The last 5 minutes were absolutely phenomenal. Excellent. Moxley worked the match as a babyface. Not a heel, but as a babyface. Even though he's been a heel for literally the entire year. Except tonight, he worked it as a babyface, which was fascinating. I was very shocked that, all right, he's just a face now by default, okay? Very shocked that Kyle Fletcher lost. I had him winning. I pinned Kyle Fletcher to be the guy that ultimately wins this tournament. He didn't. And I was floored when Moxley beat him. And I can't be the only one that thought he was the clear favorite, because he's one of Tony Khan's clear favorites. So he falls again in the semifinals. Doesn't even make it to the finals. He falls in the semifinals. Well, Moxley and Okada are now the main event. I personally, looking back on the match, how awesome would it have been to get Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher? You know, they could have easily done Takeshita and Okada in the main event, the finals, done the exact same thing. But Okada wins the tournament. You know? Whatever. I'm not going to complain about it that much. Chicago Street Fight. This was good. Very fun popcorn match. Violent, entertaining, easy to watch. Lots of blood. Bang, bang, gang. Juice Robinson is always entertaining to watch. Austin Gunn is growing on me. Or is that Austin Gunn or the other one? Colt. No, it's not Colt. It's Austin Gunn. I said it right. Whichever Gunn brother it was. The Bang Bang Gang had a good match against FTR. Nothing really to complain about here. There was a suicide dive spot that I thought almost killed Cash. That was nuts. AEW Women's Tag Team Championship. Not as good. Nowhere near as good. But it was okay. It wasn't a bore fest. It wasn't a terrible match. The Babes of Wrath. Athena and Mercedes Moné. By the way, the Babes of Wrath are Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale. In case you don't know. It's right there in the description. So, I'll keep saying it. We need better producers for these women's tag teams. The tag team division as a whole just needs to be better produced. There's a lot of clunky spots, transitions, botches, missed spots, poor chemistry. It's like they didn't even get out of rehearsal with this. It was so bad. And even this match, there were a lot of good spots in here. There were some very embarrassing moments that I'm just like, ugh, that's not good. Like Harley Cameron, you know she has a sling blade now, right? Well, she hasn't been hitting that right since she started using it. At all. So, and I love all four of these women. I especially love me some Willow Nightingale. It's just, and I love Harley Cameron too. These tag matches have not been great. It improved in the final minutes. It got better towards the end, but the match struggled. I don't think people care about the match as much as they care about seeing Mercedes Moné lose again. Yes, she took the pinfall. Willow pinned her.
After tonight, was this Okada first singles loss?
Was it? That's a good question. I think you're right. No, like real talk. I think you're right. Someone help me out. Was this his? Well, let me go back and see. Let me go back and see, because I think I don't remember him. No, because he lost some matches in the tournament though. No, because he lost a lot of matches in the tournament. Never mind. Because he lost to Kyle Fletcher, and he also lost to, who else beat him? Who recently beat him? Was that Kevin Knight that beat him? I can't remember. Someone else beat him in the tournament. Kyle Fletcher definitely beat him. I know that for sure. I think Kyle Fletcher, matter of fact, beat him last year. See, now I'm getting my dates mixed up. I need to be careful. Anyways, yeah, I think. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that. He did lose. How about that? I don't want to spend too much time with it. All right. Mercedes Moné, speaking of losses, she took a big one. She got pinned by Willow, and as a result, her downfall continues. Her spiral, the spiral of a century is happening, and it's one of the best things on AEW television. It genuinely feels like this was the plan from jump. All this time, she was getting all these wins, and people are like, oh my God, why does she keep winning? Why does she keep winning? Because of this. This was the long-term plan. The downfall now. It started off with her winning every single championship besides the AEW Women's World Title. She couldn't win that, and she lost her mind. She's obsessed over it, and because of that obsession, she can't focus on keeping the other championships, and so now every title defense feels like she could lose it, which makes her title defenses more entertaining and a lot more must-see now, right? Because there's a story behind it, and you're invested. So, the question is, who dethrones her for the TBS Championship? Because she can't win the Women's World Title unless she loses all the belts. And she's held that TBS title for the longest time now. Going on 2 years if she holds it to Double or Nothing. I think Athena should beat her for it. Legit, I think Athena should dethrone her. I don't think Willow Nightingale will dethrone her not even next week. No, next week. Next Wednesday. I said it right. Next Wednesday. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Athena will be the one to do it at Revolution. That would be quite the match to have, by the way. But, yeah, I think she loses all the belts. And then when she's lost it all, and she has nothing else to lose, she'll win the championship either at All In, which is what I think will happen. She'll win it at All In, or maybe, fuck it, they might give it to her at Revolution. She'll probably lose the TBS championship this upcoming Wednesday, lose all the belts before then, and then at Revolution, beat Kris Statlander. Although I think it should happen at All In. So, despite the tag match not being all that great, at the very least, there's a story behind it, and Athena keeps losing, and I'm excited about it. We got the Mixed Nuts Mayhem Championship. Death Riders versus Toni Storm versus, let me look at this. The Conglomeration and Roderick Strong. Okay, so the Death Riders versus Toni Storm, the Conglomeration, and Roderick Strong. This was pure chaos. I love this. And it wasn't even all that special. The whole thing was about the women getting attacked by men. That was the entire story. It revolved around the men teasing physical contact with the women. There was some, but not a lot. And you had Toni Storm get the giant swing, and Cesaro just chucked her from that giant swing. That was so fucked up. Marina Shafir interacted with her hubby. Roderick Strong back chopped her. That was nuts. That was so awkward, by the way. When Roderick Strong and Marina Shafir were just beating each other up, there was no, like, hey, we're married, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Like, it would have made a lot more sense if Roderick Strong went to hit her and then he held back, because that's his wife. But then Marina Shafir said, no, fuck you. Boom. Now you have a story, right? For both of them to feel so comfortable beating each other up, it's like, y'all are married, right? That's a weird marriage. But yeah, this was a fun match. The good guys won. Toni Storm and the Conglomeration. That was fun. But what was one of the best matches all night was this hell of a fight. Not even a match, but a fight between Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd. This was bloody, violent, brutal, unforgettable. There were, and I'm not joking you, literal puddles of blood. Literal puddles of blood around the ring. They were beating each other up so badly, there were puddles of blood surrounding the ring. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Someone said Athena has held the Ring of Honor Women's Championship for over 1,000 days. 1,000 days? Is that accurate? Can someone find me the exact day she has? Like, put it in chat GPT for me. But anyways, yeah, there were literal puddles of blood around the ring. It was that violent. Freaking Darby Allin was getting ragdolled. There was a horrific spot where Gabe Kidd did a catapult, a slingshot catapult, or what is it? Catapult, slingshot, whatever the fuck. That move where you fall back and their head hits the top of whatever they're under. He did that to the steel steps, and the roof of the steel steps popped off. Busted Darby Allin wide open. That was crazy. But if you're a fan of Darby Allin being a masochist, this was a match for you. Lots of Sting tributes. Scorpion Deathlock, Scorpion Death Drop. Barely escaped with a roll-up pin, which is Darby Allin for you. So again, I think Darby Allin should win the World Championship once, and at least once in 2026. I'm not saying he should have a run. I'm not saying he should be a long-term champ. He can win it, lose it right back to MJF. But he should win the World Championship in 2026. AEW Women's Champion, Kris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter. I'll say this. The match was good. I didn't hate the match. Was it pay-per-view worthy? No. It was good. Wasn't great. Wasn't fantastic. It was good. This match, oh, God. The dead crowd made this feel so fucking Bush League. This felt like a Dynamite match. It felt like a collision match. Because the crowd was dead and it lacked story. And again, Kris Statlander and Jamie Hayter are great wrestlers. But this just felt cold. Kris Statlander's entire reign so far has felt cold, lifeless, and forgettable. Period. I'm glad she won the title. I'm glad she got to say that she won both the TBS and Women's Championship, the World Women's Championship. Great moments. But it's a different thing to hold the title and carry it. And so far, the booking of her as champion has not been great. It hasn't been great. She's not a compelling character or a compelling champion. She's better on the microphone, but she's still not great on the microphone. If you ask me right now, who's the best female wrestler in AEW? Kris Statlander doesn't come anywhere close to that. She doesn't. Sorry. Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné, Jamie Hayter. Yeah, no. I couldn't put Kris Statlander at the top. I just couldn't. I know a lot of you want me to, but no. Athena is so much better than Kris Statlander. It's not even funny. I'm shocked that Athena has not won the Women's World Title. She's got to win that Women's World Championship eventually. Anyways, we'll see what the rest of her reign holds. I don't see Kris Statlander holding that belt for too long. I can see her dropping it at Revolution. The question is to who? We'll find out. Continental Classic Finals. Okada versus Jon Moxley for the AEW Continental Championship. I won't say this is the weakest card. I don't want to say this is the weakest match on the card. I thought it was better than the women's tag match, but man, not by much. The pacing was slow. The crowd was dead. It felt like a slog getting to the finish. And of course, Moxley beating Okada. Shocking. Shocked the hell out of me. But if Okada was going to lose, why not just have him lose to Takeshita? Just have him lose to Takeshita here. You know, Takeshita should be the one to beat Okada for a championship. That was the natural story. Instead, Moxley wins. And then after he wins, he goes full babyface. Just cuts a full-on babyface promo. Despite being the leader of a heel faction. What the fuck? He's pro AEW now? He's pro audience. He shows loves. What is happening? What? Yeah, I don't know about that, Chief. It feels like AEW may be setting him up to be kicked out of the Death Riders. Hopefully that does happen. No guarantees. Why not just do it tonight? Why didn't they do it tonight, y'all? I don't get it. This was the perfect time to do it. Have him celebrate, and then boom. Let me see here. Athena has held the Ring of Honor Championship. Oh my goodness, for real? 1,114 days. Is there nobody else to hold that belt in Ring of Honor? Give me a break, man. So as a result of beating Okada and now becoming the Continental Champion, the Unified Championship is now vacated. So there is no longer a Unified Champ. We're back to 2 championships, the International Championship and the Continental Championship. All right, let's see what happens there. But I just feel like right now, Tony Khan just did this for the shock value. That's it. He had no real plan behind it. He just did it for the shock value. Main event match, AEW World Championship, Fatal 4-Way. Samoa Joe, the champ, defending the belt against Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, and MJF. This match delivered. It was awesome. The crowd loved it. They were into it. All 4 men went out there, and the crowd felt alive again. They came alive for this one. They were alive for this one. They weren't alive for a lot of them, but they were there. We're in Chicago, by the way. One of the most liveliest crowds ever, and they were quiet. That's what happens when you open the show with Takeshita and Okada. I will say this. In a year where AEW struggled creatively, when they get it right, man, do they get it right. Putting the belt back on MJF was definitely the correct decision. I'm sorry. Hangman Page, I'm glad he got the moment. People see him as one of the best wrestlers this year. MJF was the rightful owner of that world title. I'm so happy he got that back. He is a much better champion. A much better champion than basically anyone else in that match. If not MJF, give it to Swerve. But no, Hangman Page was not a great champion. MJF is a far superior world champion. Far superior. The best overall talent in AEW. The company's ace. Yeah, he should be right at the forefront. Right at the helm. The QB1. Before the age of 30. And they're ending 2025 with MJF on top. I'll give you that one. That was the right decision. That was a great way to end the show. I feel like we're on the right track. We're on the right track again for AEW to feel like its old self. So MJF is, like I said, MJF should hold that belt all the way to All In. Now, if you want to give the belt to Darby Allin, sure, have him win it sometime and then drop it right back to MJF, right? But the plan should be Will Ospreay, MJF, the main event of All In. Sell that bitch out. Sell the bitch out with the idea that Will Ospreay is going to come home. He's going to come home and win the AEW World Championship. And you already know Dave Meltzer's going to throw 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 divided by 5 stars at that goddamn match. You already know he's going to do it. And you know what, Dave? Go ahead. Break the scale. That would be a match I would happily love to see him break the scale on. Happily. But we'll have to see what they do. I'm excited to see what's coming for MJF in the future. Yeah, it ended the right way, at the very least. This was a good show, not a perfect show. Had a lot of flaws to it. Was it worth the $50? Just barely. Okada and Takeshita made it worth the $50. Really loved that Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd match. That was awesome. Really liked the Mixed Nuts match. Mixed Nuts Mayhem. M&M. And then, of course, the main event with MJF winning. So, can't complain about everything about it. It was a good enough show. Worth the $50. But that's just my opinion. What's your opinion? You give me your thoughts. Y'all talk about the show now. I'm going to read your opinions and get out of here. Yes, by the way, I have new Super Chat theme songs. There are new Super Chat songs. Set them up for next year. And you will not be hearing them on Tuesday because Tuesday, I guess this is a good time to do church announcements. Tuesday would be the end of the year awards. The end of the year awards. We will be doing the end of the year awards with A&B Combos Wrestling Edition and Marked by Wrestling after NXT. So right after NXT, they'll be coming up here to basically react to the results of the awards that we came up with. That's going to be fun. You can still vote. If you haven't voted already, be sure you go vote. The awards are still up. The voting will end on Monday. Monday will be the time it ends because that's when I'll be tallying all the results up. So get your votes in now while you can. So let me read some of your comments. You give the show 8 out of 10, Game Shock. Joey Redondo gives the show 8 out of 10. JJ Bulldog gives the show 8 out of 10. So a B. So everybody's giving it a B. Britt Baker. Where the hell is Britt Baker? Dr. Britt Baker. DMD. God, I miss that woman. I miss her so goddamn much. Yeah, I think it's held the Ring of Honor Championship for 1,114 days. That's absolutely ridiculous. Because she won it in 2022. I know that. And she's held the belt that long? Fuck. Let's see here. I had Kyle Fletcher winning the tournament too. So a lot of people had Kyle Fletcher winning. It wasn't just me. That's interesting. Okada has won 95% of his matches. 90% sounds good. Higurashi gives it a 9 out of 10. Though. He really liked it. He must have loved the show. 9 out of 10. Wow. Why can't the Death... No! Don't turn the Death Rider's face. You need to break this up. This is a boring fucking group, and I'm over it. Shane McMahon being involved would have made the Death Rider storyline worth a damn. Yeah, he would have at least given it some legs. Would have been quite the storyline to get behind. I like Kris Statlander, but her character ain't it, bruh. Yeah, she has no character. Great wrestler, but not the best character at all. I think Will Ospreay should win the AEW Championship once he gets healed up. And he should win it all in. Bobby Lashley should win the AEW TNT Championship. Yeah, what happened to Bobby? Did we find out what he was injured with? What was Bobby Lashley injured with? Because I know he got hurt. Let me look it up. Bobby who? Bobby Lashley. Injury. So what the hell happened? Let me see here. Bobby Lashley has recently been sidelined by a legitimate significant injury with AEW confirmed in mid-December 2025, keeping him out of action after Full Gear with MVP managing his on-screen absence. So the specific nature... Oh, we still don't know why he was hurt? Wow. He's gonna miss a long time. That sucks. Can't be helped. Darby Allin used to win the world title in 2026. Dude has been with the company since day one, busting his ass ever since, killing himself every single goddamn match. He needs to be rewarded because of that. Absolutely. Like, I remember the first match I saw him and I went, that guy is really cool. Please push him. Mercedes can retain her other belts. No, Mercedes needs to lose all her belts. Andre Lavandaro Good chance she'll debut at the Royal Rumble next month. Who are we talking about? Britt Baker? No, Britt Baker isn't. Her contract doesn't expire until 2027, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let me see. When does Britt Baker's contract expire? Not Brick Breakers, you piece of garbage. I said Britt Baker. Not Brick. No, not Brick Breakers. Britt. Britt Baker. God damn. Yeah, 2027. Google thinks it's funny. Taking my words and going, what'd you say? Huh? What'd you say? Yo, I'm tired. And I've been staring at this light and I'm hot. You got my thoughts. That's my review on AEW Worlds End. So the next time you see me live will be on Tuesday. That will be for the end of the year awards with A&B Combos and Steven Sanders, aka marked by wrestling. I can speak English, I swear. But yes, we will definitely be back, and that will be the final live stream of 2025. The first live stream of 2026 will be a SmackDown review. The SmackDown review, January 2nd. Yeah, for 3 hours. Be ready for that. That's going to be quite the show. Outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for making me a part of your day. As you file out, do all the YouTube things. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and Venmo. I love you all, and I'll catch you guys next time right here in Alyx's World, a place that is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. Peace.
When you're